thank you for staying tuned. It is now time for a Republic exclusive, a big win for India in our fight against terror, as Ibrahim Mohammed, an Al-Qaeda operative who had pleaded guilty of terror financing in a US court, has now been deported to India, and he will now be questioned by our agencies. Abhishek Kapoor, our executive editor, picking up all the details on the same. And I also want to bring in my colleague Shivani Gupta, who's with us on this broadcast, because Shivani, first, it is extremely important to tell our viewers all we know about this man until now. He will be interrogated by the agencies, and why this is such a big win for India as we continue to fight terror.
Right. Before I go across to Abhishek, I just want to elaborate for our viewers. Abhishek, we're talking about Ibrahim Zubair Mohammed, who's an Al-Qaeda operative, pleaded guilty in US court to concealment of financing of terrorism. He's been deported to India, where he will be, of course, questioned by Indian agencies. Ibrahim was a resident of Hyderabad before he moved to USA and was found to have been influenced by Anwar al-Awlaki, a senior Al-Qaeda recruiter who was killed in a US drone strike 9 years ago in September 2011, around the 10th anniversary of the 9/11 Twin Towers attack. Abhishek, the big question is, what is it that the Indian agency would be hoping to gain from this Al-Qaeda convict who is back in India after his financing? Give us a sense of what the Indian agencies hope to, learn more about radicalizing amongst Indian youth. Because this man is from Hyderabad, originally moved to USA. We've seen in recent times the issue of radicalization coming to fore again.
Well, yes, Shivani, important question, and these are very important questions that the agencies also want to know and find answer to, that how this mechanism of radicalization really shapes out, that a very bright young boy, engineer from Osmania University, goes to America, clears GRE and TOEFL, gets admission there, does his master's there, and in a top-notch university, he was at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and then gets embroiled in these kind of activities where he's using credit card fraud, he's using wire transfer fraud to channelize funding into Al-Qaeda from United States, and using even, his Indian contacts, some Pakistani contacts. The documentation that has come out by way of the US court papers is damning in terms of the kind of radicalization that has taken place. And there's a background to this story of Ibrahim, in the sense that his elder brother Yahya had gone to United States 10 years before him in 1991, and again did a master's there, and then came to Dubai in 2003, 2004, got into this process of radicalization, got in touch with Anwar al-Awlaki, and met him in Yemen, involved his brother also into his activities of organizing funds for the terror activities of Al-Qaeda. So this is a copybook case of how radicalization really takes shape and draws some bright minds into its fold, and then leads to them getting embroiled in terror activities or terror financing activities, I would say more specifically. So this boy has been deported, right, because of those flight availabilities. He has been brought to Amritsar, where he is in quarantine, following the end of which the agencies would be questioning him and trying to find out whether there was an element of India also involved, because there is a communication which actually shows that the boys were discussing the panning out of terror activities in India as well, which is a matter of concern.
Absolutely. Saurabh Shukla, Republic partner, editor-in-chief News Mobile, is joining us. Also, defense expert Major General K.K. Sinha also with us. Before I go across to them, and my colleagues Amandeep and Krishnamurthy joining us from Chandigarh and Hyderabad respectively. Abhishek, very interesting, you talked about just who was the recruit for the Al-Qaeda. Now, the pattern which emerges from Mohammed and his brother Yahya is frankly not very, it's not unusual for the Al-Qaeda. Osama bin Laden himself was a very highly educated, rich individual. In fact, Al-Qaeda was the one that redefined the definition of just who is a terrorist, no longer somebody who is marginalized or has a difficult background. You mentioned how his brother is also someone who moved to USA before him. In fact, Yahya is also convicted on similar charges. Yahya was the one who was originally influenced by Anwar al-Awlaki.
Well, actually, Shivani, I'll give you a little more background. So, in this case in which Ibrahim was convicted, there were 4 people, 2 Indians, these brothers, Ibrahim and Yahya, and two Pakistani nationals. Yahya is actually convicted for 27 years and is serving his jail term in the United States. Ibrahim pleaded guilty to his crime of having helped his brother, and that's why his term was 5 years, which he completed, and he's now sent back. But there are areas of concern which make our agencies believe that they would need to, keep track of him and make sure that he is not relapsing into the hands of those radical elements, even if he professes to have come out of it. Because some documents which have been taken out of, for example, the US judgment clearly indicate that the level of radicalization is very high. There is one communication between the brothers where they are discussing Mumbai terror attack 26/11 and actually justifying it. There is another communication in which the elder brother is trying to find out from the younger one whether there is some courier available in India to again channelize funds back to Al-Qaeda. So these are serious concerns. There are serious concerns that if there is an element of relapse into that radical fold, then this man can be in trouble even now. And that's why surveillance and, of course, his questioning after the quarantine.
So ISIS, of course, Al-Qaeda, of course, has also led to the threat of ISIS in India, and we've been discussing that. We've followed that kind of, the network and the investigations into it, Abhishek, very closely here on Republic TV. Let me go across to Saurabh Shukla quickly first up. Saurabh, how important do you think someone like Mohammad Zubair can be for Indian agencies to understand, how this network is operating?
Well, I would say it's a very, very significant development, and I think credit goes to National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, our ambassador in the US, Taranjit Sandhu, and the Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla for actually making sure this kind of a coordination happens with the US, so that a key, I would say, Al-Qaeda man is brought back to India. And I must tell you, US rarely deports such terror, suspects to other third countries. They usually don't do that. This also points out to a deeper US-India strategic cooperation that has been happening, that has been cemented following President Trump's landmark visit to India. So this is also a manifestation of the fact that both the countries are now working very closely at the strategic level, at the level of security agency, and also at the diplomatic level. It's also the fact that the machinery, the government machinery, has been working despite the fact that they've been stressed because of COVID, but they've been working on ensuring that India's national security interests are kept paramount, and also to make sure that such terrorists are brought back to India, because there can be a deeper connect. And once the Indian agencies probe these missing links, there may be a deeper conspiracy can be unraveled as well. And also it sends a big message to all those terrorists, all those fugitives who are sitting outside India, that India can get now fugitives or terrorists from any country. US, this terrorists coming back to India is a big message that will go down to all those people who are hiding in third countries and also trying to take refuge off law by various strategies. So
Saurabh, I want to understand, there are some radicalization hotspots in India, be it Hyderabad, be it some pockets in Kerala. And as I was earlier discussing with Shivani, it's not just about one person getting into it. Bright mind, it's not easy to clear GRE, TOEFL and get into a very top-notch technical institute like the UIUC in the United States. I've been there. I know how cutthroat the competition is to get in. And yet a level is reached of radicalization of the mind where the person is getting into these kind of activities. So you think that the agencies would want to question this man and try to go little deeper into this process of radicalization, and particularly, do something about these hotspots within the country?
Absolutely. I'm glad that you asked that question, Abhishek, the biggest challenge for India now is to make sure that how do you de-radicalize some of these young people who have been indoctrinated by some of these terror groups, by countries like Pakistan who are trying to make use of some of these young people, because otherwise you have a big challenge at your hand. In India, there are a lot of hotspots where, and I would tell you that once we obviously interrogate him, there will be certain missing links of this jigsaw which will be found. Also, India will also be better prepared to deal with this kind of indoctrination that is happening. You have seen time again, although I must say that India is far better when it comes to dealing, because the conditions in India is far better than many other countries. People cannot try to use religion to indoctrinate these people, but obviously a certain section of I would say are trying to indoctrinate these people and trying to wean them away from terror. But certainly this is, I would say, a big landmark day, because this will also help us unravel that entire conspiracy and how this young person got indoctrinated and indulged in these terror activities. Abhishek.
Right. I think Suresha will take the question now.
Right. I also want to bring in Major General K.K. Sinha into this conversation, because I'm really wanting to understand from you, as per the information we've received until now, he has been reticent, and the Indian agency is obviously looking to probe into his Indian contacts as well. So this will not just help in understanding the whole radicalization network, but also to how terror is expanding in the other states as well, and what the deeper links are. How will that work and help our intelligence agencies and forces?
Look, the most significant part of this, when he has been reported in this Ibrahim, what the Abhishek was saying, what I can, imagine and what I can think of. See, the problem, you must understand why the Americans have done it now and they have given to us. You have to understand that first, and then you will come to know how it is happening. See, Al-Jahari announced that the Al-Qaeda in Indian subcontinent, that came somewhere in 2014. And it has got a direct linkages, because in between someone told that along with them there are two operatives were Pakistani. And these Pakistanis, you must understand, they are from Tehreek-e-Taliban of Pakistan, TTP, and their Amir, if you will surprise, Al-Qaeda, when they were coming to the Indian subcontinent, and especially in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Afghanistan, the biggest link was Asim Omar, who was killed by Americans along with the Afghan forces. But the Amir, who has taken over and doing it in India, all this thing, whether radicalization, whether, Ibrahim came into that, it was through Pakistan. And they were actually, they were not operating from these areas from Indian subcontinent, but they were operating from United States, UK, Germany. They have got a linkages over there. And I'm very happy and a very significant, this thing. Now, the NIA will come to know how they have been operating and how it is happening. Mind you, in the Al-Qaeda in Indian subcontinent, they are not able to find their feet in.
To my colleague Krishnamurthy as well. He's joining us from Hyderabad. Now, this Zubair was born in Sharjah, Krishnamurthy, and at the age of 6 with the family, he came back to India and then left for the US around 2001. That was the peak, of course, of the radicalization by the Al-Qaeda. That was the same year, of course, our viewers would remember the Twin Tower attacks took place in New York. Has the news of his being sent to India sent shockwaves in Hyderabad?
Well, Shivani, even before we broadcasted this in the afternoon, we went around and did a recce of the place from where Zubair hails from. Now, that is the Tori Choki area in Hyderabad, which is where quite well-to-do families live there. And in that area, in fact, where Zubair stays, in fact, that's quite a well-off area. In fact, as he stays in an apartment which is also hails from quite a posh family. And as Abhishek earlier was pointed out, yes, he was quite educated. In fact, he had a bachelor in engineering from Osmania University in Hyderabad. Then he did take up all these TOEFL courses and then went to the US a long time back, along with his brother, in fact. So now again, the question which remains is, how is it that youth in Hyderabad are being radicalized, although those are educated? In fact, remember, Shivani, we did a big investigation of ISIS being handled from here, and how people, in fact, got influenced. Among them, one of the major accused is Abdullah Basit, who was arrested. He himself was educated, quite educated. So the questions that which remains is what for the investigation agencies is to track down all these educated youth who get radicalized and then who move in and then they fund for terrorists, or either go ahead and join.
And speaking of the threat of radicalization, it is of course even bigger than it was in the early 2000s. We're talking about someone who had great opportunities in the early 2000s and actually chose to become an Al-Qaeda operative. Today, internet is even more pervasive. A lot of these operatives never actually meet each other, either hand passed material or, of course, today, through the internet, material is passed on, and even unsuspecting individuals who have nothing to do with such ideologies can fall prey to it. That's how radicalization works. I want to go across to my colleague Amandeep. Amandeep, what more can you tell us about the conditions in which the agencies are currently keeping Mohammed Zubair, who is, of course, a prize catch for India, coming back after fulfilling his sentence in the US?
Exactly, he is right now in Amritsar, and the way Abhishek rightly revealed everything, he was a part of that batch who was deported from the US and landed in the Amritsar, and now he has put into the separate quarantine center in Amritsar as well. If we talk about the other people who were deported from the US, they also put in the quarantine centers, but this person is separately put in a separate quarantine center so that he should not come in touch with any one of them. So just because he is a radicalized mind and he can spread this among the others also. So now the agencies are being informed. In fact, the military intelligence also, Punjab intelligence also, central intelligence also. There are so many agencies will come together and interrogate and question this person, that how he is radicalized and what are the further plans after landing in India. In fact, how they are spreading their network in India also, in different parts of the country, that how they are making it possible, from where they are generating the funds, how they are developing their connections, and what other activities they are planning to do even in the India also. So these are all the questions that are going to ask to this person, and in fact all the agencies will come together and start questioning him. Yes.
My colleague Niranjan is also joining us. Republic, getting you more on this very important development that has taken place. Niranjan, a former Al-Qaeda convicted operative who hailed from India, went to the US, being brought back after his sentencing. And of course, in today's day and age, the threat of radicalization is even bigger. If it was Al-Qaeda 20 years ago, it is the ISIS today. It will be an important aspect for the agencies to look into.
That's correct, Shivani, and just to give a little bit of a context to this story and why it's all the more important. In fact, just before, when Abhishek broke the story, he spoke about radicalization hotspots, and I think it's also a bit early for us to get into that, but he did make that point about radicalization being India's focus. And the reason why we are focusing on this story even in a bigger way today is because 2017, when we launched the channel, you will remember that one of the first stories we did was on the ISIS India network. And the ISIS India network consisting the likes of Abdullah Basit, who many political parties also tried to sort of defend, and later after a lot of dilly-dallying, he was released and then later rearrested by the NIA and is, if I'm not wrong, still being investigated as I speak. Now, there are several excerpts that I have with me about this Al-Qaeda terrorist, and I'll tell you why this is important and why the India context is very important. I'm going to mention the India context. There is an India mentioned in the mail trail, para number 161, page 43 of the indictment document. Let me read out from that. The date is 1st of March 2009, when Osama bin Laden was still alive. It says, the Farooq wrote this mail to Ibrahim Mohammed. I need to figure out more ways of transferring Do you know of any Honda? I think Honda may have been, a code word. Do you know of any Honda there like we used for sending to India? So back then, both of them radicalized, both of them part of the Al-Qaeda network, both of them financing the Al-Qaeda network, speak about sending funds and discuss how money was transferred to India. Now both of them are still terror operatives. And if both of them are discussing ways of how monies were sent and how they sent money to India, now that's one thing that will be investigated. The second mention of the indoctrination. Now, he says, in a mail, Farooq tells Ibrahim, thus their surprise and confusion when they see the terrorists are highly educated. They mention it when they are highly educated and affluent. They may have the best researchers and psychologists, but they'll never figure it out until they understand the concept of loving the afterlife, talking about jihad. More than the material world, the reason for educated people being overrepresented is simply as Allah says, those who truly fear Allah among His servants are those who have knowledge. As to why engineers particularly are the majority, I don't know, but I do like the fact. These are some excerpts that I'm reading from a US court indictment copy. One last mention I'll make and I'll toss it back to you. In a mail written in March 2008, Ibrahim says he says in a subject line, Ahmad Al-Ajmi Nasheed in Farsi. And he shares a link to video which says, we will fight united against superpowers, be it Russia or America, Suesha. And there is also a mention made in another mail written in January 2008. It's a radicalization and indoctrination mail which mentions Farooq asks Ibrahim to buy CDs of Anwar Awlaki of Al-Qaeda for the project. Ibrahim replied by saying was thinking of that as well. Now these are all mentions that we've removed from this entire indictment document, and this is a very, very big catch for India. There is an India mention. Forget the India mention. The terrorists themselves have Indian roots in Hyderabad, and the investigators will look at these roots very, very closely. And let me tell you just one more aspect of why this Al-Qaeda insider is very important. Before I go across to Major General Sinha, Al-Qaeda insider, this Ibrahim the terrorist, is also the same man who provided funds to Al-Qaeda's Anwar al-Awlaki, Osama bin Laden's closest aide, provided equipment and expert advice to Awlaki, traveled to Yemen to meet the Al-Qaeda's Awlaki. He raised funds for Al-Qaeda for violent jihad, as self-confessed through mails and exchanges, not by India, not by an Indian court, but investigated by American agencies, indicted by an American court. He was even deported by a US court, and raised funds for jihad through financial fraud, transferred funds to Awlaki from the United States, used the UAE route to transfer funds to Awlaki. There is so much of details that is available with Republic TV. General Sinha, I can tell you that we have this entire dossier and it runs into hundreds and hundreds of pages. The indictment order itself, is several hundred pages. Now, it is a very, very big catch for India, and the fact that we're fighting global terror, I think this move to bring him back will help Indian agencies better.
Absolutely. See, one thing is very clear when you are reading out from this document, that he has been operating till 2008, 2009. See, you have mentioned 2008. So he has not been apprehended in 2001. He has been apprehended after the blast or something, when the Mumbai blast mention has also come. So he was even active during that time. So you have to understand one thing, See, when we are talking about Al-Qaeda and ISIS in the same breath, I think we will go wrong. Al-Baghdadi and Johari as on today, and Osama bin Laden earlier. So there are separate links are there. In Afghanistan they are operating. There is a blur, but even we will go wrong. He has got linkages, and that's why it's very interesting when the two Pakistani operative names are also come in this document. That we have to see, and it is a very significant. ISIS hasn't got a root in India, but Al-Qaeda in Indian subcontinent has, Ghazawatul Hind was the cover-up name. It was Al-Qaeda Indian subcontinent. It has a linkages with Hyderabad. It has a linkages with Kerala with what Abhishek was saying. And when Easter attack took place in Sri Lanka, at that time, we will remember, even that time we had some information from the south. So even that time, Al-Qaeda Indian subcontinent is pointing toward that. All those things get mixed up. So only my request will be there, ISIS, when we will take the name of Al-Qaeda and ISIS, we will go wrong somewhere. But it is absolutely a very, very, strong and a very good development which is taking place in a very fast track. When an American have given it, when they have got already, they have got that accord and understanding in Afghanistan, which is not going well. They have given it because they know if they want to break it in this subcontinent, with Afghanistan is also there, India can only do this, and they want the Indian involvement, and this is a very good sign. That's why we have got a price cap, we have got a price guide who has got linkages. It has got linkages with Jammu and Kashmir. Ghazabatul Hind must be also linked up with this.
General Sinha, we'll take a short break at this point. General Sinha and Saurabh, thank you for joining us on this breaking news broadcast. Republic TV, the only channel with the story and the only channel with the full copy. It's a big, big catch for India. The Al-Qaeda terrorist, once a close aide of Al-Waki and also Osama bin Laden, joined the network very early, was indicted, was punished, was in jail for 5 years. His own brother is serving a 27-year jail term. It's a very, very big catch for India. Taking a short break, back with the breaking news.